This tutorial is about how to create classes in your external style sheet, right? Which is this document here. You don't need to open that up and edit it. It's just there. It's your external style sheet. You should have made it in a previous tutorial. And if you make the classes in that, or the lines of code for each class in that, they should then control all the elements of your web page that have those particular classes, which is the whole point of CSS. So just make sure that you've got your body class set up and your table class set up. You should have done that in the previous tutorial. If you've not, you shouldn't be on this bit. All right, that has to be done, and they all have to be the same on each page. Okay, what I'm going to do then, if you have got them on the same on each page, we're going to close down all but one page, and it doesn't matter which page you keep open, you just need to close all the others down. The reason for that is, unfortunately, Composer doesn't refresh very well. It's a free piece of software. It doesn't refresh the changes you make to the class, right, in CSS on all the other pages you have open. They kind of stay static, so you won't see the update on all those individual pages, so you better sort of just keeping them shut. They've all got the same classes as the one page you're editing, so it shouldn't be a problem. And then you can open them up later and see the changes have been made to them as well. Right, so we go to CSS Editor then, and we're going to click on the arrow, and we're going to create a style rule. Now, remember I said to make those two classes. They were page BG for the body and main table for the main big table everything's going into. The first one is page BG. And you should, if you've got it on this one page, you should see the changes to the CSS happening immediately. So page BG, create style rule, and the background. What we're going to do is we're going to choose the color. You can choose a repeating image file as a background. A lot of you probably want to do that, but I'm just going to go for a nice plain color for now, and just a sort of dark gray. Okay, straight away you can see that's been updated. If I click OK and I go into the little CSS file, there you go. That's been added in there as some sort of abstract code. .page_bg. That's the name of the class, and it's telling it the background color will have that. Now, if I open up one of my other pages, because it's also controlled by the style sheet, that also has the changes made to it. But as I said to you, if you make further changes, if you go in this tab and edit the CSS and make further changes to it, when you click on this tab, it won't refresh. You need to just keep them closed. So close that back down again. Right, this time, because we've got a class called main_table, right? I'll make sure I close this down as well because it can mess it up if I keep it open while I'm editing the file through this. Right, CSS. Again, I'm going to go for another class style rule. There are other ways of creating CSS rules, but I'm just going to stick with classes because it's a really straightforward way of doing it. This one is going to be called main_table. So that's what all my tables have been set to, main_table. Right, create style rule. And the background of the tables is going to be white. It's really simple what I'm doing for this. Okay. If you notice, the text is Times New Roman as well. I really hate Times New Roman. As an IT teacher, I deplore it. It's the default, and it shows me people can't really be bothered to actually change the settings on their work. So please never use Times New Roman in your work for me. Predefined, all right, and straight away you see that's changed because it's selected Arial, Helvetica, Sans Serif. My original blueprint for this robot website was Courier, so Courier New, Courier monospace. You can use a custom font family, but you run the risk then of them not being web friendly, so that they don't really appear as a web friendly font, and not everyone's web pages can open that font because they won't have it installed on their own computers. You can use Tahoma. That is a very popular one. So I'm going to use Tahoma, but actually I'm going to use Courier New because that's the style one for the robots. So click OK. And there is another little thing I can do. If we go back to CSS quickly, main table, borders, it's box, isn't it? So margins, padding actually. I want padding just to be a little bit bigger. No, I actually don't want that. It's going to control everything. It's going to be horrible. I can just space things a little bit. That's not a problem, is it? Right, so that is the CSS setup there. Okay, and main table again. I just fancy doing something different with the text. I'm going to make it bold. So the font weight I'm going to make bold. There we go. That looks better. Maybe actually the font size 1.4 EM. Yeah, I like that more. Right, so I'm really happy with this. I'm going to save it. Now, I could open up all the other pages. We've added this exact same class onto their bodies and main tables, so it should, in theory, be working, right? But you don't have to open them all up. If you're just editing the CSS, a quick way to check it's worked is just to go browse and actually go through your website. So home is working, T1000, parts, yeah, returns. They've all got the white background in the table with the font changed like that and the dark grey background there. So that is showing how you create classes on your style sheet. And if the classes have already been added to your web page, and that's important, you need to do what I did in the order I did it, add the classes to the page and make sure they're spelled exactly the same way on each page. Then when you go to do the style sheet, it should automatically control everything. I'll show you something even funnier. Right, I go to CSS here. Actually, no. Page BG. If I change the background color to pink, or pinky sort of purple color, click OK. It's in the browser there. If I refresh it in the browser now, it automatically will update and all the pages will have that. So when I've done web design in the past, I've often literally just had my editor open and I've just checked everything in the browser, because this is the best way to check it works, because this is what it's actually going to be viewed in by the general public. Okay, so that's the end of the tutorial about adding classes into your style sheet. Obviously, remember, you need to put the classes into the page first so they can then be controlled by those classes on the style sheet. Have an experiment. If you mess it up, that's fine. That's good. Just keep going back over it until you get the hang of it, until you start to understand it more. It's worth just repeating this and going through it a couple of times more.